This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news in the business of podcasting. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Wednesday, September 17th. Just a quick bit of housekeeping before I get into the top story. I know I mentioned this yesterday, but not everyone listens every day, so quick reminder, I'm taking next week off. I'll be back tomorrow and Friday for the Download recap, but next week there will not be any audio episodes of the Download. So make sure you go to soundsprofitable.com at some point this week and subscribe to get the newsletter version, because Tom will continue writing the Download while I'm gone. So you'll still get the same juicy bits of business of podcasting knowledge just from Tom and an email form until I get back on Monday, September 29th. Now I got to go figure out how to pack like 50 sun hats because I'm not risking it, folks. For the top story, new ways for creators to earn more with brand partnerships. While a chunk of this YouTube official blog post is re-announcing previously announced tools for YouTube creators, the big one that might lead to a tidal shift in how YouTube and video podcasting is managed is YouTube's version of dynamic ad insertion. Soon, long-form video creators will be able to dynamically insert brand segments into designated slots. Instead of burned-in segments that permanently live in the video, such as a host-read podcast ad break, YouTubers will be able to drop a marker and then edit in pre-filmed sponsor segments that can be swapped out over time as sponsors change. The feature is slated to be tested with a small group of creators early next year. This has the potential to change the face of YouTube, as a good portion of so-called event videos that require large budgets for small creators are funded with generally five-figure sponsorship deals with a single brand who's looking to be forever baked into that video. With a YouTube version of DAI, those sponsorships could become hot swappable, which might have a knock-on effect of making the old-school baked-in sponsorships even more valuable. Next up, the top 10% of Americans account for nearly half of consumer spending. Moody's Analytics chief economist Mark Zandi has a new analysis of Federal Reserve data that finds the top 10% income bracket made up 49.2% of total consumer spending in quarter 2 2025. This represents an increase over 48.5% in Q1, signaling a growing divide between high-income earners and low/middle-income earners in U.S. Shopping is up. Restaurants saw a summer boost in attendance, but those making less than $175,000 a year are spending the same since the pandemic. As Merritt puts it, spending looks strong in avoiding recession indicators, but it's balancing on one leg. As far as the world of podcasting is concerned, advertisers have the ability to target that 10% with relative ease, as zooming in on subgenres like, say, for instance, business-to-business podcast taps into niche audiences predominantly built of higher earners and decision-makers at larger companies. For our final story of the Short Report, Episode 1, The Long View on Short Form. Short drama apps are slated to make about $3 billion USD this year outside of China, according to new data from Owl & Company. While short-form content in some form or fashion has existed in the United States entertainment sphere for over a century, even modern systems like YouTube Shorts don't take the scripted short-form drama into account. There is a thriving industry of short-form soap operas developed for short-form video, often referred to as verticals by actors. Generally, they take the form of hour-ish stories that are chopped up into sub-2-minute episodes that always end on cliffhangers. Apps specifically for those vertical dramas, such as Reel Short or Drama Box, are performing well with profit models that lock users out of a story after about 10 or so episodes, forcing them to watch ads, use microtransactions, or pay for a subscription to be able to continue the story. Owl & Company tracks around 200 drama apps worldwide, excluding China, of course, and finds the top 20 of those make 90% of the revenue of the genre, connecting with 10% of U.S. smartphone users. Owl & Co.'s Hernan Lopez suggests the short-form drama/soap opera market has yet to really have its significant serial moment that will help it take off. It seems like the conditions are right for the first company that fully takes advantage of the fact podcasting has had audio drama creators making short-form scripts built around twists for decades. It could be the vertical serial moment comes from a short-form fiction video podcast. As for the rest of the news, Audio Boom has now paid out over $325 million in payments to over 8,000 podcast creators since launch. Amplitude Media Partners have launched AMP Advantage, a tool that allows users to tap into both programmatic and direct sold ad campaigns. The Podglomerate has a new episode of Podcast Perspectives focusing on how to get a podcast reviewed by a major publication like Vulture or The Guardian, featuring guest host Alice Florence Orr of Podcast Review. Amplify Media founder Stephen Goldstein has a new blog about generative AI podcasts and the analysis paralysis of having near identical choices and what that might cause for the average listener whose feeds are clogged with iterative podcasts. Bell Media has renewed their deal with iHeartMedia to continue representing iHeart's podcast portfolio in Canada. And finally, Digiday has a look at how free ad-supported TV is doing in the streaming world, with both audiences and ad buyers. Spoiler alert, it's doing pretty good. Be sure to check out the links to every article I've talked about right in your podcast listening app with the link that'll take you right to today's episode post on soundsprofitable.com. Or if you want to do it yourself, soundsprofitable.com, mouse over to the download section, and there you can find the links in every episode of the download ever. You could also subscribe to the newsletter while you're there. Wink. The download is written and produced by myself, Brian Barletta, and Tom Webster. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis, and I'll see you tomorrow.